In this video, I've compiled some of my favorite wine recommendations from Australia and New Zealand. The next top wine for $30 a bottle comes from a legendary producer. This is wine that's powerful, yet well-balanced with very smooth tannins. You can enjoy this wine young, but it will certainly give you some flexibility in the cellar and age for a number of years as well. Sometimes this producer's wines can be a little bit of a challenge to enjoy when they're young because they oftentimes use lots of new oak to mature the wines. This wine, however, was matured in only 16% new oak for only around 1 year or so. As a result, the oak influence is very subtle and there's impressive purity of fruit. This wine includes flavors and aromas of blackberry, blackcurrant, violets, and mixed spice. There's plush tannins and a velvety mouthfeel. This is the Penfolds Shiraz, Bin 28. The fruit for this wine is sourced from a number of different areas in South Australia, including the Clare Vale, Barossa Valley, Clare Valley, and more. It's definitely a compelling value for around $30 per bottle. While New Zealand is justifiably recognized as a top source for Sauvignon Blanc, I also enjoy a lot of the Pinot Noir that comes from New Zealand. It's extremely intense and vibrant, and the aromatics are particularly prominent and pronounced. So the next top wine for $50 a bottle is the 2021 Quartz Reef Bendigo Single Vineyard Pinot Noir, which comes from Central Otago, New Zealand. Quartz Reef is a quality-minded producer that was established back in 1996, and Bendigo is their estate vineyard, which is both certified organic and biodynamic. This Pinot Noir was well received by critics and features a red fruit profile with descriptors such as cherry, cranberry, strawberry, but also blood orange, alpine forest, and spice. There's a long, vibrant finish, and it also has impressive structure. It's an age-worthy Pinot, but one that's also extremely enjoyable in its youth. Next up is another light red that the producer actually calls a lunchtime red. This is a wine that sells for closer to $25 than to $30 and is another wine you can enjoy immediately. If there's a problem with this wine, it's that it's so gulpable that it will be gone before you know it. This is the 2022 Torbreck Cuvee Juvenile. This wine is a blend that consists of around 45% Grenache, 36% Mataro, which is also known as Mourvèdre, and there's also some Carignan in this one as well. The production method emphasizes the purity of the fruit for this wine as it's matured in neutral oak. As such, there's lots of bright, vibrant fruit. Descriptors include strawberry, red and black currant, and spice mix. Hunter Valley is famous for its unique expression of Semillon, and in my opinion, Tyrell's makes the best Semillon in all of Hunter Valley. The Tyrell's Vat 1 Semillon is particularly impressive, as this Semillon is made from some of the oldest Semillon vines that Tyrell's has, including vines that date way back to 1923. If you're not familiar with Hunter Valley Semillon, it's light-bodied, bone-dry, high in acidity, and extremely low in alcohol, with only around 10 to 11% alcohol by volume. While Hunter Valley Semillon can be somewhat neutral in its youth, it becomes truly special with extended aging and develops intriguing flavors and aromas like fig, toast, and honey. For that reason, Tyrell's actually matures its Semillon at the winery for a number of years before it's released. While most wineries release their white wine within a year or two after harvest, the current release of the Tyrell's Vat 1 Semillon is the 2018. Tyrell's practice of maturing the Vat 1 Semillon at the winery for a number of years before release actually has a really interesting backstory. Back in 1989, Bruce actually hid 1,000 cases of Vat 1 Semillon from his father in the back of the warehouse. Once that wine was finally released in 1996, everyone was able to see how much the wine had evolved and how much more enjoyable the Vat 1 Semillon was with some additional bottle aging. So that I would be able to experience for myself how this Semillon evolves, they let me taste 3 vintages that span 10 years, the 2014, the 2018, and the 2024 vintage. While all 3 of these wines showed extremely well, the 2018 was particularly enjoyable as it was extraordinarily vibrant that day. This impressive Vat 1 Semillon sells for around $65 to $70 per bottle, but Tyrell's also has an extremely enjoyable entry-level Semillon that sells for closer to $20 to $25. Before he founded John Duval Wines in 2003, John Duval worked for Penfolds for nearly 30 years, including 17 years as head winemaker. Among other things, he was responsible for producing the iconic Penfolds Grange, so he certainly knows a thing or two about producing world-class Shiraz. So the next top wine for $40 a bottle is the John Duval Entity Shiraz. The fruit for this wine comes from 13 different vineyards, 3/4 of which are located in the Barossa Valley, and 1/4 of which are located in the Eden Valley. This wine offers compelling quality for the price. It's a wine that's designed to be enjoyed immediately, but will age up to 15 years as well. Flavors and aromas for this wine include blackberry, plum, licorice, violets, cedar, and vanilla. I also visited 2 wineries in Mornington Peninsula, the first of which was 10 minutes by tractor. The name comes from the fact that the winery's original 3 vineyards were all 10 minutes apart if you traveled by tractor. After tasting it 10 minutes by tractor, my takeaway was that the Pinot Noir from Mornington Peninsula can be extremely light and ethereal. In addition, it also seems like there can be substantial vintage variation because the climate here is quite unpredictable and varies dramatically from one year to the next. I found that I particularly enjoyed the Chardonnay from the cooler vintages since it had more freshness and acidity, but that I enjoyed the Pinot Noir from the warmer vintages because it had more intensely concentrated fruit flavors and was more flavorful. 10 minutes by tractor also had an impressive estate Pinot Gris that's not at all like the neutral, boring examples you can get by the glass at certain restaurants. If you haven't tried Riesling from Australia yet, I highly recommend that you do so. One of my favorite sources for high-quality Riesling in Australia is Clare Valley, and there, one of my favorite producers is Pikes. So the next top wine for $30 a bottle is the 2021 Pikes Riesling Traditionale. This is a wine that actually sells for closer to $25 than $30, so it's really hard to beat this price point. This wine is bone dry, so it's not sweet at all. Descriptors for this wine include lemon, lime, white peach, citrus blossom, and slate. It has impressive depth and concentration, but also racy acidity, so it creates some intriguing tension in this wine. This is a wine that comes in at 11.5% alcohol by volume, so it's very light and refreshing. It's one you can enjoy immediately, but it will certainly age for a few years as well. If you're interested in wine recommendations, wine collecting strategies, and learning more about wine, please do subscribe to my channel. I've been collecting wine for more than 15 years and also have a level 4 diploma from the WSET. So I have both formal certification as well as substantial practical knowledge from the School of Hard Knocks. Founded back in 1967, Vasse Felix is one of the founding estates in Australia's Margaret River. They have an impressive Heightsberry Chardonnay that receives tremendous critical acclaim and sells for more than $90 per bottle. But they also have an extremely impressive Chardonnay that sells for about half that amount. This Chardonnay comes from some of their premier plots, and it's always an excellent value, namely the Vasse Felix Chardonnay. This wine is made in a traditional Margaret River style, so it has both power and elegance, and also some complexity. This wine features flavors and aromas of white peach, grapefruit, marzipan, ginger, and spice. This is a wine that's typically matured in a blend of new and used French oak for around 8 to 10 months. After that, they consolidate it in stainless steel and mature it for another 6 months or so prior to bottling. This is a wine that you can enjoy over the next 5 years if you prefer Chardonnay with a bit more freshness, but if you'd rather have it with a little bit more complexity, you can mature it for even longer than that. My other winery visit in Yarra Valley was to Giant Steps. If that name sounds familiar to you, that's also the name of a famous John Coltrane album. The name for this winery was inspired by the founder's love for jazz. Giant Steps is a world-class producer of both Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. Giant Steps has a swanky tasting room right in town where you can enjoy a single vineyard wine tasting experience. This tasting allows you to try all the various Chardonnay and Pinot Noir wines that Giant Steps makes, each of which are made with fruit from a different vineyard. This tasting is particularly insightful as it allows you to experience firsthand just how differently Chardonnay and Pinot Noir can taste, even when they're made from the same grape and in the exact same way, just based on differences in the vineyard, such as the soils, the climate, the sun exposure, and so forth. Giant Steps made some of my absolute favorite Pinot Noir of the entire trip, but I particularly enjoyed both the Sexton Vineyard and the Applejack Vineyard expressions of both the Pinot Noir and the Chardonnay. While Giant Steps is particularly well known for its high-quality single vineyard expressions of both Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, they also have an appellation Pinot Noir that offers incredible value at around $45 per bottle. The Giant Steps single vineyard Pinot Noir sells for at least $90, and some of them are $100 or more. So this is definitely an excellent opportunity to try a Giant Steps wine and see if it might be in your wheelhouse. The fruit for this wine comes from a mix of upper and lower Yarra Valley fruit. Some of it is estate-grown fruit, and some of it is sourced from growers. Giant Steps uses a gravity flow system to produce their wines, and they use 30% whole bunches, which gives this wine an intriguing savory note. This wine matured for around 8 months in 10% New French oak, and it was unfined and unfiltered. I really enjoyed the 2023 vintage when I visited back in October, but the 2024 vintage is on store shelves now. 2024 was a classic vintage, so you can't go wrong with either one of these vintages. You can expect a red fruit profile. I detected red cherry, rhubarb. It's also extremely spicy and savory, but there's an elegance and a freshness too. Really an impressive wine, and one that definitely punches well above its $45 price point. If you enjoyed these country-specific recommendations and you'd like to see my recommendations for wines from Italy, be sure to check out this video that's linked above.